Hey pool friends, welcome to the saddest video of the pool season. So as you guys know, we have been trying to decide, are we going to take this pool down and store it for the winter so we can move it back onto the pool pad and reset it up? Or are we going to close it and leave it as is and deal with it next year? And we have finally decided we're going to take it down. Now there's a couple reasons we're going to take it down. For one, we need to fix this deck, and we cannot really fix the deck with the pool up against it. But as you can see, the pool, we moved it. There's gaps. We need to fix boards. So depending on how my health goes, we will be redoing the deck, setting the pool back up on the pool pad. It's supposed to be another 1.5 feet over this way. But if my health does not improve, we will simply just be moving it back over where it belongs and setting it back up and dealing with the deck later after I get to go back to work. It's all going to depend on this appointment I have coming up in September as to what we get to. So I'm actually backwashing. Very, very good. Then I'm going to rinse. Very, very good. Then I'm going to recirculate all of this sand. And that is just to make sure that it's good and clean before we unhook everything. Then I will let it sit in the garage with the top off of the pump and let it dry out so it doesn't get mold or anything like that in it. So I'm gonna let this backwash for about a minute, maybe 2. Then I'm gonna rinse it for about a minute, maybe 2. Then I'll recirculate it about 30 seconds. And then I'll start unhooking all my hoses and disconnecting everything, taking the umbrella down, disconnecting my hoses that are under the deck. And this will also help drain the pool. There is a drain plug on these pools, but they never drain them fully. So you're really better off if you have a sump pump. And I will show you that process when we get down low enough to use it. I don't know where these ants came from, but holy cow, they came from everywhere when I turned my pump on. But as you can see, we're just rinsing now. My sand is really clean. It's very clean. It's been a very good season. You can see I've got it on recirculate. Everything is crystal clear. It looks really good. Just pushing that water back through, recirculating the sand, setting it all back down, and getting it ready. Now, when you go to drain your pool, the fastest way to drain it is to, don't use a knife around your pool. The fast way to drain it is to use your waste, which is what I'm going to do. Of course, I have this hose to kind of direct the water over that way. So that's going to help a whole lot with keeping my yard from flooding. So that's what we're going to do now. Let's put this over on waste. And we're just going to turn it on and just let it drain. We're just going to let it drain. As much as it will, we're going to drain it this way. Okay guys, make sure you keep a very close eye on this. When this gets too low, you do not want your pump running because it will dry run and it will blow it up. So while that's draining, you're going to grab your hose and your sump pump. And this is how we empty the pool all the way to the bottom. So when I'm preparing for winter or for pool closing, I start with a fresh slate. I empty out my entire deck box. So I go through everything, like stuff that needs to go in the house and be washed, like puppy towels, blankets, extra shorts, or redneck sock that we use. I evaluate all my equipment, like my broken stuff that needs to be thrown out. This is extra hoses in case I have a leak. Goggles that can stay in the deck box for the winter. Mr. Turtle, he needs to be emptied because there is, I think, 1 chlorine tablet in there. This is the box where I keep all of my extra seals and clamps for my hoses. This is what we had left out of our chlorine for the summer, which I did actually have down here 1 gallon of this to go back in the house. I only had to shock my pool like 4 times this summer, so we got really lucky. This is our scrub broom, my thing for my umbrella, which needs wash before I use it, my piece that came off my ladder because we wanted to use it, the part of the ladder over there, as you can see, for holding floats. And then this is the original director screen thing that came with my Coleman pool, but you can't direct your water very good with this, so I don't use it. And then we had an extra plug, and these were extra pieces that I had from where I changed out my hoses, and one more piece to that dip net that I had. That dip net, by the way, I will do a review on it. It was definitely worth $4, but it did not last the summer. Okay. As you can hear, we are sucking air. So we are right at the end of what we can. You don't want to damage your pump. Do not let it suck air. So now we will unhook this pump, and then we will switch over to our sump pump. It's very important when you start unhooking all of your hoses, make sure you have a bucket handy. Don't leave your seals inside your hoses over the winter. Take them out, dry them. That way they won't dry rot. And we're gonna start unhooking these and putting all of our seals in the bucket. The first one off, and I put the seal down there. Now, look, be very careful. Don't drop this, because then you're gonna have to get in this cold water. But this just unscrews. You just unscrew it. Put that in your bucket. And then this also unscrews from this side. That's your aerator. I always leave mine closed. I don't like the extra oxygen in the water because it eats up your chemicals. But you're just gonna unscrew this. I may have to hold it from the other side too. I may not be able to do it with my phone. Okay, so my sump pump is filthy, and I'm not sticking this in there because that's more stuff I'll have to clean up after the pool is drained. So I'm going to clean this before I put it in there. Okay, fresh and clean. So if you're wondering, this is a Drummond sump pump. I got it at Harbor Freight, not sponsored. This just happens to be the one I use, and I only use it to drain my pool. We don't have a basement or anything that floods, so that's specifically what I bought. Okay guys, as you can see, everything is hooked up and the pool is draining. I ran the hose all the way down here to kind of get some of this water. I'm gonna fall and kill myself. Get some of this water away from the house, so it's just up here, draining over here where it's wet most of the time. So we should be drained here very soon. While that's going on, I'm gonna go ahead and start taking all of this stuff apart. I just wanna remind you, down here, you really need to unscrew this to make sure that you drain all the water out of your sand so that your sand can dry. And it doesn't just sit all winter and get moldy. So just unscrew that. Be very careful. Do not lose that little seal. That's very important. Here's another little tip. Whether you close your pool or you take it down, don't store your hoses with these clamps on them, because they will damage your hoses over the winter. So now that everything's unhooked, I'm going to take off all of these clamps and put everything down in my little bucket so they're all together and safe. Okay, so back when we first set this pool up this year, we had a leak from our intake hoses. We searched everywhere for these little rings, these little seals, gaskets, O-ring, whatever you want to call it. And we finally found them at Lowe's, and I'm not taking them off because they are on here so tight. Like, they are so tight. I'm not going to take them off because I don't want to risk having an issue with a leak again next summer. But this is what we bought, and Guess you all can see that. We bought them at Lowe's. Some of them are too big, some of them are too little, but we got the variety pack and there was 4 of the ones that fit these hoses, so that's what we used. They're very, very, very tight. I'm not taking them off, and they're probably just going to stay there. So in here you'll see all of my seals, all of them, and I'll go through this and I'll clean it. This is not supposed to be in here. I'll clean them, I'll dry them, I'll make sure everything is good to go for next year. Finally, for the end of part 1, I will tell you that everything that has rubber on it all goes in this container. And it's just an old chlorine tablet container that seals really, really good. And also my generic sunglasses that I just use in the pool. They all go in here, they get sealed up, and they go in the deck box. And this is going to be the end of part 1.